Good afternoon, Badass Artists. I'm Mia Luyando. Today we are going to continue on in our book Luna. We've been working with some markers and some Crayola colors of the world. We finished this nice skin tone just day before yesterday. So today I thought we would continue with some paint. We're going to work with some color changing watercolor paint. These, let me grab the box over here, are pretty neat. I will put the link to these in the description below. These are by Gansai, I think they are. They are granulating color changing paints. Now they have some different versions of these. They have some really pretty iridescent ones. They've got like a blue iridescent, a green iridescent, a pink iridescent, and I think I'm going to put some of those on order as well because that'll be really pretty with January and February coming up, with some holiday stuff, like some Valentine's things coming up in the future with some sparkly kind of shimmery things. So I think we will definitely practice with some of those, but not for a couple of months. I'm going to just order them and kind of practice with them. But here they are, and they kind of look underwhelming when you get them. They also come with this empty tray at the end so that you can mix some paint together over here. I almost sent these back, and let me tell you why. I wasn't using enough water. I couldn't figure out why my paint wasn't changing. It wasn't granulating. It wasn't looking like this. And so I was going to send it back to Amazon, and I thought, well, you know what, let me write to these people and see if I'm doing something wrong. And sure enough, they said, you're probably not using, let me get these out of the way, you're probably not using enough water. So I gave it a try, and lo and behold, that was the problem. I'm glad that I wrote to them. I'm glad that I gave it a second try because I've really enjoyed them, now that I've given them a try. So I am going to show that to you today. So I think I've mentioned before, when you're using watercolor paints, a lot of times if you just grab up some water and put some drops, it activates your paint. That helps going forward. You don't have to sit there and kind of go back and forth and back and forth. But the color that we're going to be using today, I'm activating all of them because I hadn't quite made up my mind yet, but I think the color I'm going to be using, let me see, is this one or this one. And this one is violet. I think that's the one I want to use. Let's go for this violet color. So that's this one right here. So I'm going to actually flip it around. And see, you can kind of see, let me zoom over here. And you can see how the paint is already starting to change color just underneath the water. Isn't that kind of crazy? I know it seems really bizarre. I don't know how they do it. I don't really care how they do it. I'm just excited that I figured out how this works. So I'm going to go on. I'm going to zoom us back out, and I'm going to keep on adding water so that it can, do its thing over here. And then I thought we will add some to her wings. And while that's drying, we will do her lips and eyes. And then depending on how dry we are, we will press on. So I don't really see a lot of color change in that one yet, so I'm going to activate these other paints too. You know how we do. We kind of roll with it as we go. But I really like the way these others are already changing colors. It's kind of like every time I use these paints, I get a different result, which is exciting also. I like the unpredictability of them. And as you can see, this is really bright, really, really bright purple. And this one is a little less your face. We might pull back on that a little bit. Okay, let's see. These mop brushes are great too. I'll link these also. They're very inexpensive. The set of 2 is less than $10, and they are very soft. They hold their shape incredibly well, and they don't shed. You know, like some brushes, after you use them a couple of times, the little bristles start to fall out and lose their shape, and these have held on beautifully. So I will also put these in the link below. Now I'm going to zoom us in. Remember, the trick to these paints is water. So I'm going to push all my stuff out of the way over here. And pushing little Fiona the fairy. We've got her with us today. She's lending us some good fairy mojo. But I'm going to push her kind of out of the way so we can concentrate right here. I'm going to go back up. And I'm going to get this. I'm choosing the violet. It's called Aurora Violet. Now I'm really putting a lot of paint, but also a lot of water on the brush. And I'm kind of really saturating it. Now also remember to put something protective behind your paper. I'm going to do that now because I forgot. Put some kind of cardboard or another piece of paper behind it so the water from your paint doesn't destroy the next page. Okay, now I'm going to just lay this on very thick. And I know it looks scary, but you just gotta go for it. And we're just gonna trust that as this dries, those little gold metallic flakes are just gonna start changing for us. And the pleasant thing about this paint is that it's pretty color. So even if for whatever reason it doesn't change, the granules don't work, you know, it's still pretty paint. It's like, okay, it's a pretty lavender color. I'll take it. But the trick is the water. The water content is what makes those granules pop up. Now remember, this is not watercolor paper. That's the thing. So we definitely have to have something protective underneath the paper. And as it dries, it's really gonna, you know, soak in. We're not gonna be able to, you know, swirl it around and mix it. So, you know, it's gonna sit there once we add it to our paper. We're not gonna be able to push it around a whole lot. But that's okay. Just taking my time, not getting in a hurry with it. Now I can really see the red in this as it dries. But let's see, I'm gonna pull this in just a little bit further. And it's going to look a little darker because we're putting it on pretty dark grayscale here. So we're not going to see all the lighter colors in it like we would if we were just laying it down on white paper. We've got to be a little forgiving with ourselves for that. Now I'm just going to let that dry. It's so tempting to, keep touching it, but I gotta let it dry and do its thing. Now I'm gonna do the same thing over here. And just be really liberal, grabbing your paint. Let me see if I can kind of tip this up here so that you can see. I want to be zoomed in enough so that you can see everything, but that might not be realistic. Let's see. And we're just going to add this in. Just be very patient with yourself. And if you accidentally paint over something, don't worry about it. We've got pencils, and pencils go right over paint with great ease. And you can see that undertone of blue in there. There's some metallic blue shimmer. I hope it's picking up well. The thing is, just remember to really make sure you got a lot of water every time you pick up more paint. It's the water that activates that color change. Okay. First coat down. We are looking pretty good. Now let me zoom out. Nice. I'll set this to the side so we don't accidentally knock it over. We don't want to set it over here, will do. I've made a mess. But that's nothing unusual. Now let me go ahead and clean my brush out. Now it's important to keep these brushes clean. Like I said, they're great quality brushes. As long as you keep them clean and dry them, just keep them in like a nice, I keep mine in, I have a paintbrush set. It's a different brand. I've got this little set, and I've really not even used these, but I like the container, and I keep some miscellaneous brushes in there because they fit in there so nice and nothing gets messed up, and I can travel with them. So that's kind of where I keep them. As long as you keep them in something like that, they'll last you forever. So while that is drying, I'm gonna grab some Crayola swirl pencils, or maybe, let's see, what else do I have? Some rainbow color pencils. Let's see, let's get this out so it can dry nice and flat. I'll move this out of the way. And I'll go ahead and clip this back down. edge because I want to work on her hair a little bit. There we go. Now I have these rainbow pencils by KohINoor. This is actually a good spot to show you. I was mentioning to someone the other day something about woodless pencils, and they were like, what are woodless pencils? Well, I'm going to show you. Woodless pencils look like this. This one's broken, just kind of ignore that. Woodless pencils are kind of neat. The whole thing, the whole pencil is basically like a neo color. The whole thing is just like a water, I don't think these are water soluble. These are by KohINoor. You can color with the entire surface of the pencil. The whole thing is graphite, basically. The whole thing is color. There's no wood encasing. The whole thing is kind of like the center that you used to color with. So those are kind of neat. Some of them, like an aquarelle pencil, they're all water soluble, so once you color with them, it's kind of like an Inktense by Derwent. Once you color with them, then you can go back over them with a damp brush, like a Neo Color or something like that. These are not water soluble, but KohINoor does make an aquarelle pencil that is water soluble. So these are rainbow pencils. They have different colors in them. I don't know if you can see that, but those will, when you're coloring with them, all of those colors will come out as you are, moving along. So I thought, I was thinking we would use the Crayola Twistables, but since I have these out, let's see what we can get with her hair. There's some pretty colors in this set. This is, like I said, the KohINoor Woodless. This is their holiday tin. It's a collectible tin, but the set is available without it being in a collectible tin. It's still available. So this one is, I don't think they have names on these. This is just like a purple, black, and red swirl. I think it's also got like a deep burgundy in there. Let's zoom in and work on her hair. I'm gonna set these over a little bit because I'm gonna keep bumping them. I've made a mess today. I don't even know. I'm working on so many different things today. I've got stuff everywhere. But let's start down here. Now I'm just kind of keeping my hand right here in the middle while our sides are drying. So remember, when you're working with rainbow pencils, you're gonna get all these different colors. Normally when we're doing hair, we go in with a lot of different colors to build that lush, deep, we're getting all those, gorgeous colors in there, and that's what builds all those layers and levels of lushness. But when you're dealing with a rainbow pencil, you don't have to keep switching pencils. You've got all of them in one. So as long as you keep kind of twisting and turning, you're getting, all those levels of, that ombre effect in the hair without having to continue to switch your pencil around. So as you can see right now, I'm getting everything from this bright, pretty red to black to purple to this burgundy color. So I'm just going to keep working these colors in, and I'm just sort of spinning the pencil as I go to kind of get a good coverage of all these colors. I'm also going to take this out of the clip so I can get all of her hair. And remember, just kind of keep spinning your pencil around until you find another color. And that way you can work all of those colors in. And if you're not working with rainbow pencils, you can just choose, you know, like a deep red, a black, and a dark purple, like a grape color, and just go back and forth between those three colors and work those into her hair, and you'll get the same effect. Rainbow pencils really are a great way to practice hair if you're new and you really want to get that depth and perspective, and you want to have all those beautiful strands of hair and all that pretty shine. Try some inexpensive rainbow pencils. I think you'll be happy with your results. Trust the randomness of the colors. If you don't want to turn, if you don't want to turn and search for the color, it's okay to just trust the randomness of the color flow. It is absolutely okay to do that. Now the lighter areas right here is the reflection. That's where the light is hitting off of her hair. So we don't mind that that's a little lighter right there. Same on this side. And we're going to bring the darker area in on the part. So I'm going to zoom out so we can see to this these little under strands right here. Now this, as you can see, is drying. I'll zoom back in again. And it is starting to granulate. It's starting to change. We've got purple and blue and pink, and then we've got this metallic gold coming up underneath. We've also got this metallic blue. I don't know if it's showing up very well. I hope it's showing up for the camera. We have undertones of metallic gold and also metallic blue, along with this kind of a fuchsia color, purple, violet. It's just a stunning paint. It's absolutely beautiful. So I will definitely put that in a link below, along with these pencils, because I really think this set of rainbow pencils has complemented it very nicely. Now I'm going to choose another one of the rainbow pencils by KohINoor. This one is more of a medium purple and a pink. It's just these two colors together, purple and pink. And I'm going to highlight. Let me zoom in a little so we can highlight her hair. Oh, sorry about that. I'm just going to add a little bit of this, you know, more intense purple into this area. I'm just going to kind of work that in. And that way we've got this undertone of purple, and it all ties in with the wings. Very nice. I'm really happy with the way that's setting itself up. Now I'm going to zoom back out again, and in this area right here, I'm just going to add a little bit of this. We're not going to do all of it, just a little bit. And I'm going to take this pink, the one that I broke, and go into her lip area. Let me zoom in again. And I'm just touching the lighter parts of her lip. This one is all pink. It's just pale pinks. There's no darker tones to this one. Now I'm going to go back to that darker color that we started with at the very beginning. I'm going to do the outer corner of her lips. It's a rainbow pencil, but it does have quite a bit of red, and I'm just sort of spinning it to the red area. We'll touch up with, you know, just regular straightforward colors, but I'm laying this red down right now. And if you're at home following along, you can just grab a regular, you know, pretty red out of a regular color set. It doesn't matter. It doesn't have to be a rainbow pencil, and it doesn't have to be KohINoor. I'm just kind of going along the darker spots in the creases between the two lips. It's always shadowy there. And then around the bottom. And this is all, I'm just doing this with just a little bit of red. And I'm just using a light hand. I'm not going in with a lot of pressure. That way I can kind of decide how much red stays behind and how dark I want the lip to be. And we will do her eyes, kind of a hazily brown or honey brown color, I think. And we'll stick with these colors since we're doing, well, I don't know. Do I really want to do that color? Well, let's go for like a greenish color and see how, I'm not going to do them like we normally do. I'm going to use the rainbow colors for this. And this one is kind of like a turquoise, a green, and a yellow. So I'm just gonna go in and I'm gonna allow this to be a color changing kind of event. I'm just gonna let the color change as it wants to. And you can use any rainbow pencils, or you don't have to do this at all. You can go about these eyes the way you normally do. I thought this would be kind of an interesting effect. And as soon as we get to the other side, here we are, I'm going to spin this around to this other color here. Give her a little more depth on the outer ring on both sides. That is one thing about rainbow pencils. You can kind of spin them around and control what color you want to use at the time. And I thought that we would be able to get this one finished in one more go, but I think we're gonna have to, for the sake of time, split it into one more this weekend so we can finish it. We're gonna give her very pale light green Luna wings, and we're gonna make these embellishments in a pale green as well as the little Luna moth body. So we're gonna balance everything out with kind of a pale green, and I hope that this was helpful. If it was, I hope you'll give me a thumbs up. If you haven't already subscribed to the channel, I hope you'll do so. That way you'll always know when I post a new video. I try to get one out 3 times a week, sometimes a little more, sometimes a little less. I'm also going to post a link to my badass art group over on Facebook. I hope you'll join me over there. Share your badass artworks with me. I love to see what you guys are creating at home. Okay, everybody, I'll catch you next time.